Which brings me to my announcement. There are several ways we can handle our current fiscal crisis. We can dramatically raise taxes. We can go into more debt, but I think the Chinese have already said no to that. We can simply print money that will eventually cause the collapse of the dollar. Historically, that's been what governments love to do because they like running up debts when the currency value is high and paying off those debts with a depreciated currency. Too bad for you if the value of your assets are destroyed in the process. But I believe there's a fourth alternative that's better than the other three. We can get our government back to its original function of protecting our rights. We can make sure that politicians know that if they need more revenue, it better come from them maintaining an environment that produces economic growth. We can make sure our politicians know that as of today, they will start prioritizing their budget the same way we have to prioritize ours. And the first time a politician tells you that the only thing there is to cut is policemen and firefighters, we can make an example out of that person by returning them to the private sector. Today, Tertium Quids is announcing a new grassroots campaign to return the citizens of Virginia to their rightful role as sovereigns and to return our government to the founders' vision of a limited state. In the past, there have been a number of attempts to gain a politician's pledge not to raise taxes. These attempts have had limited success for one very important reason. Politicians lie. Politicians are more than happy to take a pledge or endorse the issue that you say is important to you without any expectation whatsoever of being bound by it. Tertium Quids, though, is starting a new campaign. It's real simple. I think even the politicians will be able to understand it. It's called Raise My Taxes, Lose My Vote. This campaign is different because we're not asking the politicians to do anything. Our pledge is for the people. People who understand that it is hard work, not entitlements, that bring success. People who understand that it is savings, not spending, that ensures prosperity. People who understand that it is the entrepreneur, not the bureaucrat, who creates jobs and economic growth. People who understand that it is morally reprehensible to enjoy current benefits while passing the cost of those benefits on to our children and grandchildren. People who understand that we can no longer tolerate intellectually bankrupt politicians whose one-step thinking process always leads them to the conclusion that more government spending and higher taxes are the only answers to every problem. People who understand that the nation's wealth is built over many years but can be squandered in nothing more than a decade. If you are fed up, if you want to leave future generations with what past generations have left us, freedom and prosperity, instead of servitude and poverty, then I invite you to go to a green awning right over there and pick up a copy of this. It's free. All we ask is that you put this on your car, and all we ask is that you don't vote for politicians who raise your taxes. Amen. Are you with me on this? Do you think government is spending too much money? Do you think government is borrowing too much money? Do you want your children and grandchildren to get stuck with the bills? Do you think government is the solution to all our problems? Do you think government is the problem? Will you pledge today to fight for the principles that made this nation a city on a hill for the rest of the world? In conclusion, we all know what our founders stood for and what they were willing to risk everything for. The question today is, what do we stand for? As far off the mark as we may seem to be, as out of hand as we have let things get, I am convinced by history that things can change very quickly when people coalesce around a body of ideas, or when they coalesce around maybe just a sentence and a half. If we wish to be free, if we wish our children to be free, then we need to realize that freedom is not always pretty. It is often chaotic. Sometimes businesses go bankrupt. Sometimes politicians have to be thrown out of office. But we need to remind ourselves that whatever flavor of utopia is being offered up by the political snake oil salesman, the utopian dream is not, was not, and never has been an alternative. As politicians offer to provide your health care, pay for your drugs, educate your children, provide for your retirement, guarantee your wages, and plan your investments, you must ask yourself, what is the price I'm being asked to pay? And make no mistake about that, the price is freedom itself, which no good man surrenders but with his life. We can do this. Virginians have done it before. In fact, Virginians were the ones who led the way. Let's do it.